Hi everyone! Today I'm going to paint one of my favorite designs. It's an abstract vintage rose. Very simple, but also so cheery and fun. You may have noticed I'm not really a traditional silk painter. I play with the techniques and materials to do just fun pattern really. I use all kinds of styles. This scarf is very simple. I start with just circles of resist. That will be the centers of the roses. If I didn't put those circles there, the paint would just bleed right into the center and I'd have no space left to put my yellow circle. So that's why I use that. Otherwise, there's no other resist on the scarf. So I'm letting the flower part of the flower just spread freely. You do have to be careful. If you overload the brush at this point, you'll end up with a gigantic rose. So you get used to just about how much you should put on. You can always add another little bit of dye if it's not going to spread enough. So I put a lot of different colors on. I find the multicolor one is just so cheery, but you could also have a lot of fun just choosing two favorite colors or two tones of one color. You could go anywhere with this, obviously. It's very free. I usually work in about 5 colors, so I've got pink, coral, I love that coral color, purple, blue, and I'm going to put turquoise on in a second. There's the turquoise. So it's just flowing, and you can see where they meet sometimes. If the other paint is fairly dry, it actually stops the wet paint from flowing. I love that process. You can work with these paints without using resist. So now I'm putting the yellow centers on, and I add a little bit of rust over top just to give it some dimension. And I'm doing that while the yellow is still damp. So I don't do all the yellow first and then the rust. I do about 10 and then I add the rust while the yellow's still damp. And then I'm using a similar thing on the actual flowers. This also gives more dimension. Then they're not so flat anymore. They start to look like flowers. The undercolor is actually a watered down version of, say, the pink, for instance. That's a watered down pink. And then I use the full strength pink on top so that there's some differentiation between the two colors, and you can see the texture details. So I'm almost done that. And now I'm adding the leaves. In another video, I'll show you how to make very simple leaves just with the movement of the brush. It makes wonderful little leaves. And I'm doing the brush first. I am going to outline them later, but the brush makes such a beautiful shape. I let that come first. They're almost finished. Now they're looking like roses because they have leaves. Before this, they sort of look like circles. Here I am adding the outline, so it's a very fine fabric pen. And you can get these from Dharma Trading. It's a great pen. I can put that in the information below. So I'm outlining freely. It's so fun to just draw around the leaves. And because you painted the leaf first and then outlined, you get a beautiful little shape. And it almost looks like the black was resist, but it isn't resist. It's just drawn around the shape that the dye already took. I love working that way. So here you have it. A simple, colorful, joyful scarf. And then when you fold it up, it takes on a whole new dimension. Thanks for watching.